Hello and good morning, friends. Today we're on a special one. We're working on a house that's worth over $1 million. Now, these are always fun because you never really know what you're gonna get. So I'm gonna take you with me while we try to figure out what's on the property. Is it working? What's it look like? And what kind of system do they have? But before we do that, we wanna make sure we go and look at the county records, see what we should find, and we'll go and see what's actually on the property. So let's go ahead and hop into those records. I'll see you in a second. All right, so what we're working with is going to be a 1,250 gallon tank. We got 225 feet of total trench with 3 of them. These are going to be all of our measurements for the system. Now, we can see it's a 4-bedroom house, and this is roughly what the system should look like. So we should have a clean out right near the foundation, tank, and there should be 3 trench lines all parallel just after the tank. So let's go ahead, head outside, take a look, and see if that is actually what's in the ground. Alrighty, so based off these records, we know that we're working with a 1,250 gallon tank. As you can see here, we have ourselves a riser, our clean out, which, looks like it's seen better days. It got smacked by something. And then we have our snake line clean out over there. And then we can see our nice 3 drain fields right over here. The next step that we need to do is we need to get those lids open, see what are we working with inside of the tank, make sure everything's playing nice, and then on top of that, we need to figure out what do these drain fields look like. So let's go ahead, pop open the tank, see what's in there, and then go on to the next step. All right, so as expected, everything looks like it's in pretty good shape. We can see that our scum layer is basically non-existent, meaning somebody's pumped it out relatively recently. We gotta make sure we get our sludge touch to check. But one thing to note is, you see all that dirt and moisture coming in through the edge of the riser? Well, that means that the riser is no longer watertight. We've talked about watertight risers before, and really the main concern with a watertight riser is excessive groundwater and soil getting into the system. This particular one doesn't really look like a whole lot of soil is getting into it, but it's also not super deep. So if you have a deeper tank with more rings that are not sealed, you run a higher risk of more stuff getting into your tank. Beyond the solids getting into your tank, you also have to be mindful of the liquid getting into the system. So the absorption system is really only designed for a certain volume of water. In this particular circumstance, it's a couple hundred gallons. But if you have a heavy rain like we had yesterday, all that rainwater can contribute to additional stress on the drain fields, which can cause premature failure. The water and the solids are what causes the drain field to eventually fail. And the solids are going to be biomat and poo, right? That works its way into the trenches, basically plugs it up, and then this additional water is just going to oversaturate it to where the water's got nowhere else to go but back towards the tank, and that's when we get what's called a backup. Backups are very expensive to deal with because it really depends on what caused the backup. Is it a clog? Is it a failure? Is it a broken pipe? Is it something stupid that was easily avoidable? So the best way to maintain your system, pump it out. But in this particular circumstance, it's a good idea to also consider getting a watertight riser installed on the system so that way you don't have to worry about anything like that happening in the future. We also have a broken clean out on the top of the tank. Probably got hit by a lawnmower. Lawnmowers hit these things all the time. In my opinion, the best way to avoid smacking your well or your septic system with a lawnmower is get a mulch bed or some kind of garden around it, right? So if you put small daffodils and some mulch, it's fine. The mower's never going to go around your well nor around your septic, so you don't run the risk of actually hitting it. Now, if you're going to do this, though, you got to make sure you don't put anything with thorns, right? It's just mean, because somebody at some point is going to have to open those lids to work on your system. So if you do it, no rose bushes, please. That's really not that fun. Moving forward, we have our tank marked out, right? So that's the edges of our system. That's going to be in the middle. That's going to be in the front. I've already probed around to see if we could get lucky and find the distribution box for the drain fields, but unfortunately we were not so lucky. So the next step is we're going to go ahead and dig up the lid on the back of the tank so that we can run our camera through the pipe and make sure everything is flowing the way that it's supposed to flow while we run some water through the entire system. So I'm going to catch up with you when I get that hole open. So we got this one open, not terribly hard to dig, pretty, solid clay, but not the end of the world. We can see here that we have our back baffle in place. That's going to be this concrete wall right here. Now, the baffle, its job is to prevent all the scum, the floating stuff, from getting past it and into the drain fields, which is going to go from that line, right? This type of lid is also really annoying. Usually you'll only see this on the front of the tank, but the reason it's annoying is the handle is placed on the front. So when you pull on it, the back will push like this. And so you have to basically kind of tug on it to get it to pop out of the hole. These ones are my least favorite. If you're a manufacturer, stop doing that. Now that we have everything open, we've seen that the baffle's good to go, we're running water, we need to go ahead and put our camera through here so we can see what does the inside of the distribution box look like. So let's go ahead and run that through, and I'll see you in a few seconds. Okay, so we went ahead and ran the camera through the box, or through the pipe, and we found the box. The box is right here, which is what we expected, which is going to line up with the first trench, and you see the other trenches. In our area, the box will almost always line up with one of the trenches. So if you're struggling to find it, you just got to look to see where the trenches are. This particular one's super easy because you can see where the trenches are exactly because of the grass. Sometimes you can't, but once you find one, you just work your way back towards the tank until eventually you hit it. Now, this particular one's deep enough to where that would be really difficult, but sometimes you get lucky and they're only about a foot, maybe 2 foot down. The D box is going to basically be the little concrete shoebox that diverts the water from the tank into the trenches. So you put 10 gallons into the tank, that 10 gallons will spill over into the distribution box, which will then slow everything down and evenly disperse that liquid into the trench lines. The reason this is important is that if you crush trench A, you can still use trench B and C. It also helps it to evenly disperse the liquid so that way you can get roughly the same timeline of failure, right? Rather than having all of the water go to drain line A, risking all that water surfacing and causing a backup. It can go to multiple to where if drain line A fails, you can adjust that pipe to receive less liquid so we can get a longer lifespan out of the system. You'll pretty much see a D-box on any house after the 1980s, at least in our area. The only county that took a while to get to distribution boxes was Montgomery County. They would use serial distribution all the way up until roughly the late 90s, early 2000s. Okay, so now that we got the distribution box found, the pipes all look good, we're gonna go ahead and fill this hole back in so that way we don't have a giant open hole in the ground. Put everything back together after we measure the solids inside of the tank. Well, we got super lucky with this one. So finished digging or putting that hole back together right before it started pouring down rain. So we're gonna sit inside for a hot second and let this rain go ahead and pass us by before we continue on with the inspection. Pretty much the main thing that we have left to do is to just basically probe out the drain fields again. So we already probed them in the beginning to see are they wet, dry, somewhere in between, what's going on. Now that we've run our water through, I wanna probe them again to see are they still dry. Now, a properly functioning drain field shouldn't change between when you introduce water the first time or the second time or however much. It should always be dry. Now, as the drain field fails, it will start to hold water. The purpose of probing the trench is to see how much water is it holding, right? So drain fields fail from the front because it's all gravity fed. So if the front of it's wet, you just keep working your way down the trench until you get to the end to see is it still wet. A lot of people will freak out whenever they see green stripes in their lawn, and the reason why is a lot of people will tell you, oh, hey, if you see green stripes, your drain field's failing. No, that's not the case. Most drain fields, because of the nutrients that you're putting in there, right? Sewage water is full of nitrogen and stuff that plants love. It's going to fertilize the lawn. So if you're not actively keeping up with your fertilization of your lawn, especially in this area where there's a bunch of clay, you're gonna end up getting some darker patches over the absorption system. And that's just because you're basically feeding the grass. Now, drain fields with dark green lines can sometimes indicate that you have a failure in your drain field. The best way to check is just walk over there and see what it looks like while it's not raining, right? If it's not rained for 3 or 4 days and it's super wet, oh, there you go. Now you know that the trench is not working the way that it's supposed to work. Sometimes, right? Could also be a different source, but if you see those dark lines and it's super mushy, super squishy, you might want to call somebody to have them come take a little bit more of an aggressive look at the system. Unless you've been doing this for a while, it's kind of hard for a homeowner to just instantly see if a drain field's failing. Even for somebody like me who's been doing this for a while, you're not usually going to be able to immediately see that it's failing unless it's surfacing or like there are signs that can help you see that. But if everything's buried like this particular one where you don't have any observation ports, there's nothing on the distribution box, you need to be careful saying that it's failed because it's backed up. Could be the box collapsed, could be a collapse in the pipe, could be a clog, right? There's multiple things that can cause a backup in your system. So just be careful with whoever you hire whenever it comes time to pump out your tank, especially if they start telling you, hey, things have failed. May not hurt to get another opinion if they tell you it fails, because most of these systems are very expensive to install. So if you're looking at a $10,000 to $20,000 install, it may not hurt to have somebody else at least give you their opinion on what might be going on. Maybe they give you a better price, maybe they give you a better idea, maybe it's just something simple like a clog. I thought it'd be fun to show you guys this one because, you know, you don't get to go to $1 million house every now and again. Let me know below, does your septic system kind of look like the one that we have over here? Because in my opinion, this system's basically the exact same kind of system you would see on any normal plain Jane house. It's just a little bit bigger, right? Modern septic systems like installed now are even bigger than this one, right? So if you have a huge home like this back in, you know, the early 2000s, perfectly fine. But nowadays it would have to be a larger system. I think it's fun. I always enjoy these videos. If you gained any value out of this, if you like this style of content, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I have more videos posted every day on the world of well and septic. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow, and I'll see you soon.